we want to make it clear that this is not a come and watch event or a seminar.
Absolutely not.
We're here. This is a day for questions and answers. All of us who like to play thugs on Twitter and challenge government. Government is here now. And, you know, we're hoping that we can summon...
Right.
We can summon the boldness, don't you think?
Yeah, Tolu's absolutely right. Again, this is about young people. And, you know, the thing I like about symposiums and events like this is that you get two different groups of people from both extremes into the same place. The older generation and the younger generation. And oftentimes the younger generation doesn't get the opportunity to meet the older generation who have been there and done that. Let's have the executive director of the Future Project, again, a young leader, someone who's put this together with his team. You know, a round of applause for him, Chude Jidomo.
Let me first thank those who have made today possible. Our co-presenter, First Bank, our co-organizers, Enough is Enough Nigeria, the International Republican Institute, and Channels Television, as well as our funders and partners, the Ministry of Youth Development, the World Bank, the Nigeria LNG, Paradigm Initiative Nigeria, and our media partners. In April last year, I learned, perhaps the hard way, an enduring lesson about leadership. I had been invited as one of 6 young people to speak to President Goodluck Jonathan about specific issues concerning the youth at a pre-inauguration launch meet. Received speech venue. He asked Mr. President to take responsibility for the corruption in his and emphasized that anything but a bold departure from the past. In a prophecy fulfilled through the historic Occupy Nigeria protest in January, I warned, we are watching you, sir. Unfortunately, that otherwise productive event was tainted by stories of money changing hands after myself and many others had left. And in the aftermath, my friends at SaharaReporters.com published a rather dodgy story that I was one of the brains behind both the event and subsequent Naira raid. The disappointed responses were visceral. Many young people trust their faith by their fellow young people. I was livid. Penning a rejoinder to the site and talking through social media, I set about defending the small integrity that I thought I had. I remember that I spoke to Mrs. Ezekwesili, our headline speaker, and she described this succinctly as my baptism of fire. Op-eds were written that I found terribly unfair, but from one of those unfair articles, written by Feri Fawahimi, now a friend, came a teaching moment. People like him didn't believe, he said, that I was part of any money sharing. But it was something far deeper. My inability to confirm my attendance to my constituency before the event. There is a reason why Nigeria is the way it is today, and we all know it, he said. To get results that will get us some level of satisfaction, we must do differently when we get the chance to do so, not act like our parents will be expected to act. That hit me. It really did. This wasn't about me. It wasn't about my intense desire to defend myself against what I thought was a terribly false accusation. It was about a disillusioned generation that had decided to hold its primary representatives to a higher standard, and our mutual duty to each other to make sure we do not repeat the mistakes of our fathers. And that is the real tragedy. That you can look at the young people around you, those in government, those in the opposition, those who are critics, and sadly see not much difference from the past. We see our friends who get into government and become just like the rest of them. We see members of opposition whose principled disagreements evaporate as soon as they get a seat at the table. We see critics who choose sensation over sense, bombast over engagement, and insults over nation building. Essentially, by observation and interaction. That scares me. Are we set as a generation to prove cynics right? Those who think that all this passion for country and hunger for change are just part of the cycle of Nigerian leaders about their pocket. Those who are convinced that Nigeria can never change, that everybody is only looking for a piece of the pie, and so they will not waste their time occupying anywhere. As anyone who has read Achebe's The Trouble with Nigeria knows, with passion, praised for skills, personal data. In leadership, just because we were born at a different time. See, it is difficult to see Nigeria's problems clearly from the rooftop of the Transcorp Hilton. That is why good people get into the lavish lifestyle of Aso Rock and other power centers and become unrecognizable. In the past year, as a deliberate student of governance and power, I have been shocked by a lot of things. It's not by shouting on Twitter. It's about seeing the kind of money you have never seen before and having to make decisions you never thought you could make. The things that move in government circles sometimes, I call them wickedness in high places. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not enough to say, I will not be corrupt. Passion alone cannot withstand corruption. When you enter government, for instance, how do you navigate a dysfunctional civil service, an entrenched patronage and sycophancy system, a systemic disregard for honor, ample opportunities for grafts, the ethnic and other parochial fault lines? Liu Pan Yu, Lulu da Silva, Nelson Mandela, Paul Kagame, individuals who have truly transformed their countries, did not by blind passion, but by determined energy. Being better comes from doing better, from learning better, from strength of character built over time and solidified by practice. That is why we are here. That is why we have here gathered young leaders from across the breadth of the country. We have to build our capacity to do better before we get sucked in under the pressure, the pull between career and passion, between advocacy and income, before needs and wants pull us in places we never thought we would go. It is in our own interest. If not, any of us here who are leaders will become the sitting ducks when the inevitable mass revolt occurs and heads begin to roll. You will be leaders in a country that is ungovernable and where your own children cannot live in. I don't want that. You don't need that. At the Future Project, we say always, don't work to change Nigeria because you are patriotic. Don't work to change Nigeria because it is the right thing to do. Don't work to change Nigeria because it is your duty. Let's work to change Nigeria because we have no choice. So let us have a frank conversation today. For our own sakes, let today be the start of something sustainable. Let us drill and grill Governor Rotimi Amechi, Governor Kayode Fayemi, Mrs. Obiageli Ezekwesili, Auntie Bim Sevenitari, and all the other speakers. Let us grill them. Where they give us cliches, let us ask again. Let us not let them go until we have interrogated them thoroughly. This is not a time to repeat platitudes. Not here, not today. After all, this is not a gathering of politicians looking for their own piece of the cake. This is a hall pulsating with energy. Let us talk sincerely to ourselves about our own challenges. Let us start a discussion that will not end. I will end with these words. Young Nigerians ought to start toning down that nawiton, give the youth a chance noise. It won't save us from driving Nigeria deeper into a hole when the buck begins to stop at our tables. The noise we should be making instead should be around this question. What can we do now to increase our chances of making Nigeria work when the time comes? Today, we must answer that question. God keep us all, and God bless Nigeria.